And what is going on, everybody? As you know, if you've been tapped in with me for the last couple of weeks, I have been playing a lot, and I mean a lot, of Hades 2. I mean, just look over the last few videos that I put out over the last month and a half. It's basically been all of Hades 2 for a lot of Mondays since the Olympic update came out. And so I was recently going over my Steam year in review highlights, and the genre that was most played for me was action roguelike. Shocker, I know, but what was really shocking is that the chart was like basically off the lines. I mean, I'm showing up a screenshot right now of it, and it's crazily off the lines because I have played more than just Hades 2 in terms of action roguelikes. And roguelikes are one of my favorite genres. I know it's roguelite, so I'm basically going to use roguelike, and I try not to get all crazy about the definitions, but whatever. If you're into those definitions, let me know if I'm using the terms incorrectly. But I wanted to make this top 10 list of roguelikes that I've been playing over the past year because, one, my top 10 list of games I've played over 2024 will be too packed with roguelikes if I didn't make this list for you today. So let's get into it right now. Let's talk about the first one. At number 10, we've got a game called Defender Bros, and I did a video on it about a couple months ago when it came out back in October. The devs actually sent me a key for this one, and it's basically a mix of tower defense and action roguelike. So you are basically a soldier running around, and it's a time. So in the daytime, you're gathering resources. You have the various directions that you're setting up your turrets and your defenses for the oncoming swarm, which will happen at night. So a bit of base building, a little bit of gathering, a little bit of growing yourself as not only a soldier but also your base. You also have a little dog with you that shoots a gun as well with you, so you're gathering resources, you're increasing your abilities, and then you're defending your base at nighttime. And so this is a fun game, fun experience. The reason why it's number 10 is that I didn't really put a whole lot of time into this game after I did my video on it, and I played it for a little bit. The footage you're seeing is stuff that I played even after I put out that video. I just didn't put enough time into the game, and I like it. I mean, the art style is not really the best for me. It kind of gives me a little bit of Starship Trooper vibes, but you know, it's a fun game nonetheless. I just didn't put enough time into it, but it does sit in the top 10 spot for my favorite roguelikes of 2024. And number 9, maybe a controversial take, it's Scarlet Tower. I said this in the video that I did for this. It was actually a clip from a live stream that I did way back in the summer, or maybe earlier than that even. And I said this game looks and plays and feels a little bit better than Vampire Survivors, because if you're seeing the ultimate and the pixel art, I think it looks so much better than Vampire Survivors. But I mean, it's copying what Vampire Survivors has already done and already succeeded at, but this game also has vampires. But this is a fun game. I had a lot of fun with it. I played it a lot when it came out, and it was fun. Great to do the different ones with all the different characters. Essentially, there are also 2 phases in this where you have your daytime, which is still a survival roguelike. You're increasing your abilities, gathering weapons, just like you would in a Vampire Survivors like game. So you have it during the daytime, but then it switches to night, where enemies hit and move, and they are a lot more aggressive and faster and stronger. So the idea is that you are increasing yourself as your character, increasing your abilities, increasing your stats during the day, so much so that when you get to the night sections of that, you are a lot stronger and you're a lot able to basically take on the night and survive for that 20 minutes. So it's about 20 minutes in survival, so it takes a little bit longer than probably your standard Vampire Survivors game or any other game in that kind of genre, but it's still fun nonetheless. I love the pixel art, love the ultimates in there, because there's about, I think, 8 or 9 characters. They've added a couple of more since they've gone 1.0 in this year, so I just love the vibe that it's going for. And there's also vampires in this one, so take that, Vampire Survivors. But anyway, Scarlet Tower sits at number 9. And sitting at number 8, we've got Wizard of Legend. I forgot to mention that the games that have come out this year, not all of them have come out this year. I think Wizard of Legend, because it came out in 2018, obviously it didn't come out in 2024, but I think it's the only game I've played this year that didn't come out this year. But nonetheless, Wizard of Legend. So why is Wizard of Legend sitting at number 8 for me? Well, when Wizard of Legend 2 was announced, I wanted to go back and see if Wizard of Legend was a game that I'd really been into. And it just so happens at the time, Wizard of Legend was on a massive sale. I think it was like $4 when it came out. I'm like, okay, I'll check this out. And yeah, I really like it. I really enjoyed it. There is a lot of customization, and I love the combat. I love the freedom of movement. I love the pixel art. I love the elemental based abilities with the bosses and with your character. I love the idea that you are just basically going through this museum and you're just trying to survive these trials. It's not even like any animosity between you and the people that you're fighting. It's just like, hey, we have these trials, these wizard trials that you're going through. Come face us, come fight us. Let's do this. So let's run the fade. Let's run the one. So it's a lot of fun. I have been enjoying my time with Wizard of Legend. It's just super difficult because I was trying to figure out just some good build synergy. And like I said, there is a lot of customization within this game. A lot of the elements, be it from earth, wind, fire, water, and lightning. There's just so much, from your basics to your dashes to your standards to all the things, and it's just hard to kind of find out the right of synergies and also just getting and unlocking more abilities as you go throughout your runs. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, but again, very difficult to kind of just figure out. Initially in my first part, I felt like I was dying way more than I would in any of the other games that I've been playing in this genre. So it was hard to figure out at first, but I feel like I've kind of hit a stride with that game with some of the build synergy. But Wizard of Legend is great right now. I was looking at Wizard of Legend 2, and I feel like it's not being reviewed very well right now just because it's in early access, and I think people were expecting it to be somewhat different and somewhat better than what the original had to offer. But again, early access is early access, and you can only go so far with that up to a certain point until you go 1.0. So hopefully Wizard of Legend 2, when it goes 1.0, I think next year, will be better than it is right now. But Wizard of Legend for right now is a great looking game. It's a complete game, so you can pick it up right now. It'll probably be on sale at the time of this recording because the Steam winter sale is happening. So yeah, if you want to pick up Wizard of Legend and kind of see what that game has to offer in terms of wizardry and magic and all the good abilities and what you would expect in a good action roguelike, check it out. It's a great game for me. The next couple games on this list, sitting at 7 and 6, are keys provided to me by the Pillow Fort. Just wanted to point that out there. So shout out to the Pillow Fort for providing me with the keys to be able to try out these games and cover them on this channel specifically for this list. And at number 7, we're sitting at Gatekeeper. Now, Gatekeeper is a game I haven't really talked about yet, and that's developed by Gravity Lagoon and published by Hype Train Digital. And it's a fast-paced action roguelike, and it's a little bit different than what you would find in your standard action roguelike. Essentially, you have more mission-based objectives while you're going throughout this very, very huge map. It's very zoomed out, very top-down, and you're going throughout this giant map, and you're fighting all of these sentinels, and you're trying to get through these gates, and you're trying to fight these entities that are blocking your path, and you are essentially completing mission objectives, being defend this part or collect this many things, and then you're moving on to the next stage. So it's a little bit different in terms of any of the other roguelikes I have been playing. And yeah, you're fighting a different bunch of hordes of machines. You have about 4 characters that you have, and they have varying different abilities. They kind of remind me of Warframes a little bit. I know it's not a one-to-one to Warframe by any stretch of the imagination, but it just kind of reminded me of Warframe. But one of the features that this game has is that you are able to do local and online co-op. I tried to queue into co-op, and at the time I was playing it and trying to get coverage for it, I really didn't get into any co-op, so maybe I'll go back to it at some point and maybe figure that out. At this time, I believe it is still in early access. Yeah, it's still in early access right now, and it will be that way until about next year, so it's not fully 1.0 yet, but it is a fun game. I do like the art style. Like I said, it reminds me a little bit of Warframe, and you have the different character abilities that have different melees and different ranges. So one of them has a sword, one of them has a gun, and you just go from there. So fun game, Gatekeeper, definitely check it out. And the next game I have at number 6 is called Stormedge. Now, this is developed by Shield Breaking Games and also published by Hype Train Digital, and this is a fun game. I talked about this in one of the Steam Next Fest videos that I did maybe back in, I think February of this year. But yeah, this is a pixel art roguelike. And the description of this game says dodge enemy attacks, activate lethal traps, and customize your hero in Stormedge. Brace yourself for the dangers of the eternal storms that will put your skills to the test. Also a little bit different than what you would find in a standard action roguelike. So you have your 4 characters that you're able to switch between, and you get them at various points within your journey, but you have attack that you hold that goes throughout its various stages of attack, be it a basic to a finisher. But you also have this thing called elusive skills, which will increase your ability to use them and will increase your different types of attacks as you go. And so you have your rooms that you go through, and then you're fighting off enemies and you're dodging traps, and you actually kind of need to dodge traps to make your character more powerful, because you're dodging the storm, and the storm makes you more powerful as you increase your character's abilities and skills and whatnot. You get perks, you get all the standard roguelike stuff that you have come to know and love. So it's a little bit different in the way that the attacks and the movements and the dodging is like very slidey, and so it's very easy to get lost and all of the dodging and the attacking, because there's so much chaos happening on the screen at one point. And so I got hit a lot in this game on the outset. But I think one of the things that I found over the amount of runs, because there is a bit of a story to it, that after you kind of complete the story, so to speak, there's not much really to do other than just kind of go on an endless mode. So there's not much to do right now, and maybe there'll be an update at some point later on next year. So yeah, once you kind of finish the story, you're just basically doing, I mean, to put it in Hades terms, heat runs basically. So you're increasing the difficulty of your runs as you go throughout the levels, and you're just, yeah, collecting more things. And I think maybe there'll be a future update at some point. But yeah, I did like this game. I know the review scores are sitting at mixed right now, and people are kind of saying that this has a little bit of a lack of content at the time that they've been playing it. But I had a good time with it. 6 at number 6 for me. So check out Stormedge if you are interested in that. And now we're in the top 5 with one of my most anticipated roguelikes of the year, and that is called Windblown. Man, this game is fantastic. The music is amazing. The combat is fluid. The dashes are so fast. There's a lot to do in this game, even as it is still early access. So it's amazing. This is a very fun game. So and why it says a number 5 for me is that I haven't really put as much time into it as I really want to. So maybe I will dive more into it as we go throughout next year. But if you're a fan of the creators of Dead Cells, you're gonna fit right in with this game. Windblown is amazing, and also like the other 2 games, this does have the ability to do co-op. I forgot to mention Stormedge does have co-op. It does have local, mostly local co-op, but a little bit of online co-op as well. But it's just mostly local co-op. So that's a bit on Stormedge. But back to Windblown, there is online co-op, and you can queue in that. And what you're seeing right now is actually me queuing up with people in online. A 3-player co-op, so you have up to 3 people, and it's fun, and it's a lot of chaos. It's people can revive you. You have all of your skills and your abilities and your weapons. It's fun to just go throughout every single level and just listen to the music. I think I could just park my character on a stage, listen to the music for a while, and it would be amazing. But it is so much fun. I love Windblown. I want to put more time in it going to 2025, and that's why it sits at number 5 for me, because I haven't put the time that it so rightfully deserves. Check out Windblown if you haven't already. Sitting at number 4, I've got Koboo the Tree Spirit. You know what it is. I covered it when it came out over the summer for over a month. Koboo the Tree Spirit is amazing. Jerome, I really appreciate you in this game. This game was a lot of fun. I had a blast covering it over that month, and I have been playing it still every now and again, because they have been just banging out updates and contents and quality of life features. So it's been awesome to just see the progression of this game, and it's so fun to just go from interviewing Jerome, just seeing the early parts of the game, playing the demo, playing the prologue, and then playing the full game at release, and just seeing the progression from there. So yeah, that's why it sits at number 4 for me, because not only has this been a great thing for the channel, because personally I've talked to Jerome and just seeing his heart and his passion in this game, but also it's just a fun game. So I've just been enjoying Koboo the Tree Spirit. It's a fun game. If you love pixel art, if you love the idea of what Koboo the Tree Spirit is putting down, if you're a fan of Ferngully, so exactly what it is. There is a story, there is actual lore that is involved in this game, and if you get to the basically end of the story, there is a pretty good twist on the game, and I was not expecting that at all. And I put it in, I think, the video that I did, the last one I did when I actually quote unquote beat the story of Koboo the Tree Spirit with that last boss. So there is an actual ending to it, and then you're just going through all of your runs. So yeah, fun game, Koboo the Tree Spirit. Please check it out if you haven't already. And coming in at number 3, yes, it's Realm of Ink. I know it's basically Chinese Hades, but what is wrong with that? China has been cooking this year with games. They have been knocking it out of the park with Black Myth Wukong and Stellar Blade and other games within the AAA and indie space. So China's on the come up. So I'm anxious to see what they're going to do within the next year with all of the genres that they have. And Realm of Ink is a part of that. It's a fun game. It definitely takes inspiration from Hades down to like all of the core mechanics, and that's fine. I love it. What's really interesting is that there was disgusting amount of builds that you can make in Realm of Ink. I think in the videos that I did when I was covering this game after it came out, it's like, wow, you can do a lot of damage over the course of your runs if you do it right, through all the different forms. And you're even seeing the footage right now of a build that I went through and actually completed a full run because the build was just so disgusting. So it's great. And they put out a couple content updates, and it's actually set to go 1.0 in January. So I'm definitely going to come back to it when it goes full 1.0. I think it's late January, if I'm not mistaken, maybe like January 26th. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know. I may have seen that on their Steam page or maybe in their update videos. But yeah, it's going 1.0 in January. So if you haven't checked out Realm of Ink now is a good time to jump in, or maybe wait until 1.0 to see how many kinks have been ironed out, because there's a little bit of jank in there. The way that the text is shown, there's a little bit of grammatical errors. There's a lot of spacing in between some of the letters when characters are speaking. I think the voice acting is fine. I mean, it's decent. I mean, Hades has spoiled me over the years. Supergiant's voice acting with this genre has spoiled me, so I have a very high standard when it comes to voice acting in these types of games. So if you're gonna do it, I would want you to do it right. And the English voice acting, while passable, is not really my favorite, but you can also switch it to the original Mandarin voices, which is great too. But if you want to switch it to English, that's great for you as well. So check out Realm of Ink. If you're into games like Hades, Realm of Ink is definitely a game you need to try out. And the winner of Best Mobile Game and Best Indie Game, it's Balatro, the poker roguelike. Jokers, all of it. It's fantastic. Love Balatro. Why is it number 2, you ask? Well, I'll tell you in a second, but to get to Balatro is amazing. You could lose yourself for hours upon hours within this game. So many different runs, still figuring out how to do the best runs possible. But if you have even a passing knowledge about poker, this game will put you right in there and give you all the twists and turns with the jokers and the different abilities and the different cards and the antes, and as you go up, and it is just fun. I find myself like, if I start playing a run of Balatro, I want to play 5 more runs. So Balatro is amazing, and it definitely got its flowers this year, and rightfully so, because it was a great game made by one person, by the way. Fantastic game, and so much content, and so many people have been talking about this so well over the past year, and it's a fun game. Balatro, what else am I gonna say about Balatro? I've talked about it enough already. Go play Balatro right now. Do it. Just do it. Play Balatro. But why is Balatro not number 1 on my list? Well, it's because I really like to hit people and I really like action. So number 1 is... yeah, it's the Rogue Prince of Persia. Ever since they put out that massive update with the redesign and the overhaul, I fell in love with this game, and I did that one video when the update came out. But man, this game looks phenomenal. The devs did cook indeed. They are still cooking with this game. It's not even 1.0 yet, and it is fantastic. They have so many things coming down on the pipe on the Rogue Prince of Persia. I love Prince of Persia just personally. I loved playing the games back in the day. So a game set in the Prince of Persia universe with the genre that I play with the most is just a recipe for just amazing things to happen. So I love the Rogue Prince of Persia. The music in this game is immaculate. solid and amazing. The environments are great, the runs are great. I love the movement, the schmovement, to be able to vault over enemies, to wall run, to wall jump, and all the different weapons they're in, and all the talismans. So just a lot of what they've done with the Rogue Prince of Persia, I think, is astounding, and it's definitely set to be an amazing roguelike when it comes 1.0 next year. So definitely keep a lookout for the Rogue Prince of Persia. So that is the top 10 games that I've played over 2024 that are not Hades 2. Like I said at the beginning, I wanted to make this list because my bigger top 10 list of 2024 would be saturated with a bunch of these games, and I was like, man, I really loved playing a lot of these games. Why don't I just make a list dedicated just to roguelikes, because it is the most played genre on this channel, and just for me personally. I'll probably branch out at some point, but I definitely want to stick with a few of these going into 2024. Realm of Ink, the Rogue Prince of Persia, Windblown, Balatro is one of those things like I'll just play it when I have nothing else to play. And then other games within this list I may jump back to every now and again. But of course, there's more games coming out. I've already got a few games that I've been looking at and wishlisted already, and already have demos that are coming out for 2025, as well as Hades 2 itself going 1.0. So there's going to be a lot more of these games coming out in 2025. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more action roguelites, all in between. It is what it is. I'm not going to get too mixed up in the genre names and the definitions. I'll be back next week for a couple more videos, couple more out, and which will end with my top 10 videos of 2024. So be sure to check that out when it drops. My name is Chike, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out.